Hi, this video is intended to show you how to use the PI method to structure your paragraphs in your writing. So without further ado, I'm going to move on to share my screen, but also mention that my website is writingwithconfidence.squarespace.com, and you can reach me via email at writingconfidencetutor@gmail.com. So without further ado, let's go over how to structure your paragraph. So you want to think of each paragraph in your essay, if you have a longer essay, that it should be a self-contained, kind of mini essay. So you make a point, you illustrate with a quote or an example, and then you explain the significance of that quote or example to your point. So yeah, it's going to explain how it illustrates your point. So the next thing you want to do is, and you may want to use like one or two quotes in your illustration of your point. So the next step is, well, for example, I had a student who was assigned to write a paragraph about activism. And I suggested that he make a point about activism. So he made a point about activism and how the purpose of activism is to bring about social change within a society, and that is an integral part of our democracy. So that's the point. Next, illustrate that point. So you can pick a lot of different evidence about activism, but here's one. So in 1963, about 250,000 people took part in the March on Washington that culminated in Martin Luther King's speech at the Lincoln Memorial. I Have a Dream, probably heard of that one. And in this speech, he said, "I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal." So in Martin Luther King's speech, he also quoted the Declaration of Independence, and that was his point. So if you were to use this as evidence to the point about activism, you would explain then perhaps that the significance of this quote, "I have a dream" speech on public perception, that when Martin Luther King pointed out that this is our Declaration of Independence and that all Americans don't have these freedoms, enough people were galvanized at this point. 250,000 marched. So eventually that led to the Civil Rights Act of 1964, in which rights were given, or legal rights were given. And then perhaps you can also add that although these legal changes were made as a result of activism, and there is also still more to be done. So you could, for example, talk about the continued role of activism in our culture when social change doesn't happen fast enough. Without further ado, thank you for listening. I hope this was a good explanation of the point, illustrate, and explain method. Good luck with your essays, and come to my website if you need help.